when we thought of NFTs, we of course think of art. And when you think of art, somebody like me who is not very artistic. I mean, I am a producer of films, a creator of content, but not in the way that you would create, or use my hands to create some piece of art, etc. And I have literally learned a lot about art and the different kinds of creations and artists and works over the last few months. But I remember a lot of my friends actually came back to me saying, okay, yeah, art, great, painting, 3D artist, 2D artist, mixed media, etc. But cartoons, caricatures, they simply couldn't wrap their heads around it. And, every time they question me, I actually show them Satish Acharya's profile, and I show them his collection on the NFT, on the Wazirx NFT marketplace, and it's just lovely. And in fact, Satish, I have my eyes on the incredible Amir Khan NFT that you've created. But I will not speak more. We'll come to your collection, to your creation, and even the two collections that you have. Very intrigued about those as to why you chose them. But I think I'll just let Ishita take the lead. And welcome once again.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, Vishakha, you set the tone already that, we definitely want to talk about Satish's work and the fact that cartoons and caricatures are so popular, they're so relatable, and it just makes sense to have them as NFTs because I feel like they're moments in history, moments in time, a moment, a satire, a comment on what is happening and what is relevant in the current scenario. So, definitely, Satish, what a pleasure to have you with us. And just tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us who you are. I mean, I know a little bit about you, but for those of you who are just discovering Satish's work, love for you to just tell us a little bit about yourself, what your journey has been like, and then we'll talk about your NFTs, of course.
My name is Satish Acharya, and I call myself an editorial cartoonist because my specialization is in editorial cartooning. Because cartooning has different aspects of different sections. Like there is comic art, there is strip cartoons, there is caricature, there is graphic novel kind of art, and there are many things. And I specialize in, I take interest in editorial cartooning. It's more about current affairs. I give my opinion on any current affairs, any topic we are talking about, the world is talking about. I give my opinion through cartoons. That's what I do. My journey, it will take 1 hour to talk about my journey. Uh, I grew up in a small town called Kundapur. It's in coastal Karnataka. So I hail from a lower middle class family. So I knew that education is the only way to, only ticket to dream. So I never thought I'll become a cartoonist because that profession was never in the radar. Uh, at school, we used to. I grew up in a pre-internet age, so most of our entertainment options were either books or the ground. And I used to read lots of comic books, mostly Amma Chitrakatha. The Amar Chitrakatha, the illustrations in Amar Chitrakatha, they attracted me because the ability of illustration to tell a story, that fascinated me. I started reading and started copying those illustrations also. Then I was introduced to these are all during school days. I was introduced to the Illustrated Weekly of India, where the legendary R.K. Lakshman and another legend, Mario Miranda, they used to contribute, and uh, the Illustrated Weekly used to publish lots of cartoons. And I started copying the cartoons of R.K. Lakshman and Mario Miranda. Mario Miranda was tough to copy because he used to put lots of details in his cartoons. R.K. Lakshman was easier because he was semi realistic style of characters. So I used to copy the characters of Mario Miranda, and I also used to copy the cartoons of R.K. Lakshman. Gradually, I developed my own style, but cartooning was never an option to uh, uh, as a job. So I did MBA after doing BCom, and I went to Bangalore, and then I migrated to Mumbai. So when I came to Mumbai, I started dreaming about taking up cartooning as a profession, because till then I used to contribute to small local papers, Kannada papers, and some English magazines. And I used to get around 30, 50 rupees per cartoon. So I never thought that that could help me make a living. So after coming to Mumbai, I thought I'll look at cartooning as an option. So I started my career with my MBA at an advertising agency as a client servicing executive. But I used to spend lots of time in the art department, mostly with artists. So my heart was in art. So I started freelancing with the different publications. Uh, then after 10 years, I mean, it took me around 10 years to get a job as a cartoonist at Midday in 2003. Uh, then at Midday, I was hired as a graphic designer and illustrator, not as cartoonist. But my eye was on having a space in the paper as a cartoonist. So I started drawing cartoons every day and sent it to our editor. Akar Patel was our editor then. So he started publishing the selected cartoons in opinion column, where we used to publish the letters from readers. So gradually, maybe he saw some potential in me. He gave me a column in Midday. That was a success story because I never thought I'll get a cartoon column in a major newspaper like Midday. So I worked at Midday for some 8, 10 years. Then I relocated to my hometown in Kundapur in 2010. And after that, I've been contributing to different publications. And after coming to Kundapur, I started using social media extensively because it's a small town. So getting a new client was difficult. So social media helped me get new clients and reach more audience also. So that's been the journey so far. I've been enjoying this journey, and I'm really thankful to cartoon lovers who have been supporting me.
That's quite a journey. That's quite a journey, Satish. And many,
Yeah,
many congratulations because, starting from the pre internet age,
yeah,
and especially the fact that you're self taught as well, it's not something that you went to school for. You didn't learn the techniques, but you're
right,
completely
right.
self taught. That puts you in a whole different bracket of,
Yeah.
absolute
Interestingly, most
amazing
of the
skill that you have.
yeah,
Sorry?
interestingly, most of the cartoonists they are all
Yes.
self-taught because editorial
Yes,
cartooning
absolutely.
it has it's not just about art. There are three aspects in editorial cartooning. Art is one part. There is opinion, which I call journalism. There is humor also. So you had to have some skills in all these three areas to become an editorial cartoonist.
Absolutely. And humor is a big part of what you do,
Yeah,
and also humor is something that is so necessary in our day and time, because I feel like
right.
humor connects people more than any other emotion does. So
Yes,
in whether it's advertising, whether it is anything, you talk about art or anything,
absolutely.
whether it's television, media, anything, humor connects more humans than any other emotion does. So I think that's a very important point that you made about having an opinion is also important, having
Yeah.
humor is important, and of course the skill of the cartoons that you draw. So tell me, what has been the biggest challenge for you, especially as a cartoonist? And the second question would be, what made you want to transition into making your cartoons into NFTs?
Okay, as a cartoonist, professional cartoonist, every day is a challenge. You have to come up with an idea for a cartoon because of the internet and social media. You get lots of topics. First challenge is to select the most hot topic of the day. It may not be the headline in a newspaper, but cartoonist is editor in his cartoon. So he selects the topic and works on it. So that's the first challenge. Then coming up with an idea uh, which is different, because I try my best to come up with a different idea in my cartoons. Sometimes I succeed, sometimes I don't succeed. Some cartoons are very ordinary, some cartoons are exceptional. It's like any other profession. You succeed in some day and you fail in some days. So these are the two challenges: coming up with an idea and picking the subject topic of the day. And the other challenges are like these are side effects, like the trolling and all. I don't want to talk much about it. I mean, every journalist is facing this challenges. And talking about the NFT, I never thought cartoons could be sold on NFT. I mean, there could be space for cartoons because most of these cartoons are available on the net free, and I never thought people would be willing to pay for those cartoons. Uh, and Wazirx has been a great a boost for a cartoonist like me. I never tried to mint my list my editorial cartoons on mostly the political cartoons on Wazirx because political cartoons they normally divide the opinion, so not many people like those cartoons. But I tried to list some of my general cartoons on sports or films or any other social subjects, and they have been I have been successful. I mean, thanks to the many collectors. I've been successful. I'm very happy with Wazirx because it's a great platform for many artists. I hope more cartoonists will join the platform and expand their market also.
Absolutely. And I find that cartoons are, were the original memes. What we call memes now was
Yeah, that's
actually
true.
the, what started off with cartoons, from time, for a very, very long time.
Right,
So it was the father of the memes, perhaps. And I think that is what is fascinating. The fact that you said, it's available easily on the internet, but the
yeah,
fact that you can own a piece that is
right,
created by the creator. It is a a commentary on the time that we're living in. It is a unique piece of history. It's that one
that's true.
particular moment of time,
Yeah,
an observation, a satire, a sarcastic comment, or anything, and an opinion for what is currently going on. And
yeah,
having that unique ownership of that NFT is so important, because I feel like this is a rare a piece of art. I feel like this is also something that is not celebrated enough. And the fact that we are celebrating cartoon NFTs on International Cartoon Day is pretty remarkable, because I feel like it's not a skill that we talk about enough. I mean, we talk about AR and VR and 3D, but the
right.
humble act of a cartoon is not something that we hear every single day. So I
I
just wanted
think,
to say a big, big,
yeah,
yeah.
I think it's just a beginning. I mean, there are not many artists on the platform, and I think there are not many people who are coming as collectors also. I mean, more people will join, then they'll have more awareness about cartoons and other things, caricatures and all. So we'll have a better market, I guess. We'll have a better support from collectors, and more cartoons will join the platform. It will take some time.
Yes, of course.
Yeah,
And that's a very good point, and you're right. Just to highlight the point of collectors, we ourselves had limited the inflow of creators on the platform to maintain quality. And
right.
in terms of creator and collector ratio, we have the official numbers. Jyotish or Rahul, you can correct me since you're here. I think we have about 200 collectors on the platform and 323 creators who we have
Oh,
green listed, and so it's a very healthy ratio as of now.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes, you're right. I think once we expand, we will get a lot of when we go more aggressive with our advertising, we will be getting a lot more collectors, and hopefully we're hoping to achieve a 1:1 ratio in terms of collectors and creators. So that will
Yeah.
be a very balanced approach, hopefully in the future.
Yeah, it's a huge market considering the size of India.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And tell us a little bit about your process. Like, when you have an idea, what is your process like? How do you start your creations?
See, ideation takes the most of the time. I mean, drawing a cartoon, it doesn't take much time. It takes around 20-30 minutes maximum. Yeah, but sorry. Uh, the ideation takes most of the time. It's a 24/7 job. I keep thinking about a subject. Sometimes I keep reading the newspapers or websites, news portals, and glancing through Twitter. I follow lots of journalists, and I try to look at different opinions. I don't want to restrict myself to one sort of opinion. I want to look at different perspectives also. So that's how I start my day. I mean, I start looking for a news item which can be converted into a cartoon. So coming up with an opinion is the first part. So before starting the cartoon, I mean, I want to say something in a cartoon, so I have to be sure about it. I have to make sure that it's not a fake news. I have to make sure that it doesn't hurt the sentiments of different sections of society. Then I can come up with an idea. Then I start ideation process, how to conceptualize the opinion, because that's the main the most crucial part. Because you can draw a great illustration, but if your idea is not good, the illustration will fail. Nobody will like it. So then I start drawing on the paper, or I used to start on drawing on paper first, then scan it on onto Photoshop and color it. Now I use Wacom Cintiq, so I draw directly on the digital tablet. That's the whole
That's
process.
absolutely fascinating, fascinating. And so I'm just curious. Does the idea come from, like you said, your most of the the concept behind it is more important than the actual time it takes for you to draw. So
Sure.
is do you brainstorm with your editorial team? How does that work?
No, no, it's I take all the
Oh,
blame.
really? Okay. So it's
Yeah,
it's
many
literally
people ask
your
the same
brain.
question. See, when you
Okay.
work in a newsroom, sometimes you discuss with your journalist friends, reporters, sub editors, sometimes editors. Now I work alone. I mean, I work in Kundapur, in my hometown. So everything is left to me only. I mean, it's good actually, because there is no filtering. I can work on any subject which I like, and there is no censorship also. So it's good to a point. To certain point, it's good.
So you said there is no censorship. So do you self-censor yourself? So you do filter out what you want to put out there, right?
See, we call it Lakshman Rekha. I mean, we draw a boundary around us. See, considering how diverse our the nation is, there are many topics which are sensitive, like caste, religion, and all. I try to control my ideas when it comes to topics like religion, caste, and all. That's the only areas I'm little sensitive about. So other things are okay. Anyway, I mean, I don't want to hurt anybody with my cartoons. I mean, I want to be uh, very strong in my ideas and opinion, but I don't want to hurt people. That's the whole intention. I mean, see, when we talk about editorial cartoons, it's not just about humor. It has to be a message also. My intention is not to make entertain people, or crack a joke. My job is to send a message also. So I need to be very careful not to hurt the sentiments of people. Uh, these are the only areas I'm little skeptical about, very careful about. Otherwise, the world is our topic.
That's a great way of summing it up. The world is your topic.
Yeah.
Being relevant and being to the point with what's happening in the current situation is what you're trying to make a statement or an opinion on. So yeah, absolutely. This is wonderful. Does anyone have any questions for Satish at this
Yeah, I
point?
was I was just
Hi.
going to jump on. Hi, Satish. Nice to meet you. Namit
Hi,
here.
hi,
I,
Namit.
I had two very, very quick questions. I believe
Okay.
that you've also come from the era of drawing these on paper, then moving them on and printing them at the press, and then they're going for print.
Yeah, I'm too
From
old.
those days to now, yeah, no, I was being polite. I
No,
come
no.
from the same era back at Times of India in 2004, so I know what this looked like. But I was just going to ask you, from then to now, the world moves very fast, which means
Right.
topics change, very quickly. So on that front, do
Yeah.
you sometimes feel that, here are a bunch of ideas that are going to be timeless? So,
Right.
it's something that you work on and have as a repository so that on whatever low news days, or, when a lot isn't happening, you can push these out. Do you do that? Or do you start with a clean slate every day saying, today I'm going to create something and push that out tomorrow?
Yeah. See, if you follow social media, you get cartoons of R.K. Lakshman regularly. The cartoons drawn in some 30, 40 years ago, and they're relevant today also. So it says two things about the cartoons. One is like the cartoonist vision, and the other thing is India is not changing much. These are the two things. So there are some topics which will never change. I mean, if you draw a cartoon, if you had drawn a cartoon some 10 years ago, which are still relevant now also. But as a cartoonist, I don't keep cartoons in my library as a uh, what do you call library to use as a buffer stock. I try to work on fresh ideas, fresh news, because then you are very spontaneous. Your ideas are very spontaneous, and you can react to situations immediately. So when you keep some ideas ready, they become stale sometimes. So I don't do that. And till 2 years ago, I had lots of clients, and every idea I had a client. So I never had to
Yes.
keep some ideas in my stock. So now it's different. I mean, I lost many clients because of lockdown and many other reasons. But mostly I prefer to work on fresh news. I can be where I can be spontaneous, and I can react immediately.
That sounds fantastic. My follow-up question to that was, while you mentioned that, try to now ensure that you don't hurt people's sentiments,
Right.
right? Are there any mental filters that you keep in mind while thinking through a concept before it goes down to paper? Any filters that you add, right, positive or negative, that you feel that, oh, if I'm able to tick off a couple of these, or like, you made some very good points about
Yeah.
informing, about not criticizing. Are there any other filters that you use while you're creating these?
I don't call them filters. I mean, see, I don't want. See, there are trolls in every area. Take any topic, you'll have trolls. I mean, I have been trolled for drawing cartoons on Sachin Tendulkar, Mahendra Singh Dhoni, and Amir Khan, Shah Rukh Khan, everybody. And politicians, I mean, they have organized trolling factory, so that's a different thing. So whatever you draw, it will offend somebody, and trolls will attack you. So I don't want them to enter my head, so I try to ignore them. So I don't keep any filter, because once you uh, let them enter your head, you can't ideate freely, because you'll have a boundary. You'll reduce your boundary, and you'll have very less opportunities to ideate.
No, that's a fantastic point, actually. And maybe if I don't call them filters, on the positive end, do you think
Okay.
of, okay, this should inform, which is one. Are there any other positive factors that you think of, saying if it's going out, maybe if it has these two elements in it, it might just, reach a wider audience or gain wide? Because I've seen your art and it's literally timeless, right? And I know, and I'm not saying it's high praise, but honestly, everyone we know knows that your work, body of work is comparable to what we've seen with R.K. Lakshman. So, what are the positive aspects that you've kept in mind while pulling this together?
Thank you so much for your kind words. I mean, R.K. Lakshman was the god of cartooning, so I'm just a human. Uh, so I don't have any such filters, but see, most of these cartoons are spontaneous. The most successful cartoons are which are created spontaneously, like immediately after 1 hour after the incident. Some of the cartoons on tragedies. Many cartoonists they don't draw cartoons on tragedies, but I think as a cartoonist, I need to document these tragedies also. My opinion on these tragedies. So I try to draw cartoons on tragedies, even some when celebrities die. I want to immortalize them in my cartoons. So I have drawn lots of Orbit cartoons. Uh, these are the cartoons which touches people emotionally also. So I try to pay tribute to lots of celebrities. I mean, whom I have been following. So that's my last chance to pay tribute to them. So otherwise, I don't have any positive or negative filter.
No, but that's a
Thank
beautiful way of thinking about it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Ishita, sorry, over to
Thank
you.
No, no,
thank you so
no.
much.
That was a very relevant question, Amit, and thank you so much for asking that, because I feel like, just taking a deep dive into an artist's way of thinking and process is so important. And that was a brilliant question. I just wanted to say that as well. So yeah, and one thing that you mentioned, Amit, was that you're definitely, your legacy. I mentioned legacy because I feel like all cartoonists, especially the ones that have been around for a very long time, leave behind a legacy. R.K. Lakshman's was the common man. What do you think is going to be your legacy, Satish?
Uh, I'm not thinking about the legacy. I mean, if I can inspire one youngster to take up cartooning as a profession, then I'll call myself successful. Because I and many other cartoonists of my generation, they came into cartooning because of the cartoons of the previous eras, like R.K. Lakshman, Shankar, many others, Mario Miranda, and many
Uh,
other senior cartoonists. So I think we need to inspire people, inspire youngsters to take up cartooning, because looking at the trolling which happens on the cartoons, not many youngsters are willing to take up cartooning as a profession. So we as a cartoonist, we need to give them courage through our works. Uh, that's the way I look at my profession. I mean, my job is to question the government, question the establishment, question the leaders, question celebrities, and I'll keep continuing that job, doing the job.
I
so
love
Satish,
that. I loved what you said, because, and also the fact that you mentioned Shankar, because I was the very first batch of people that studied at the Shankar's Academy, and Shankar was a
Wow.
huge influence in my life in 1990.
Yeah.
And I mean, I studied with Ravi Shankar, which was his son, and yeah, my very first job, my very first start in life was with Shankar's Academy in New Delhi, right next to the Hindustan Times building, by the way. So,
You're
and we
fortunate.
used to hang out. We used to hang out with all the cartoonists, having coffee at the local cafe there. So, I know exactly what you're talking about.
You're really fortunate, actually.
Yeah, it was a different time, and it was amazing, and I know what kind of work goes into it, and I know just the the heart and the soul that goes into it, and also the negativity that you have to absolutely look away from, and
Right.
continue to make these comments. So yeah, it's a very pertinent thing. Yeah, did
so
anyone else have?
on
Sorry.
that point, sorry, on that point, I was just going to say, Satish, the thing is, you made a very good point, which is that we need to figure out how we motivate the younger generation to come into this space, because what's
Yeah.
happening right now is one of two things, right? Either there are some people who are putting out some amazing work, but of whatever reasons, they're currently afraid enough to not put their name to it. So it exists out there. There is some great art, very, very, very,
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
succinct commentary, but their
Right.
name is not on it. Or then there are people who have put their name on questioning the relevant, let's call them stakeholders for now, and had to do that at a very great personal cost. And I think you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, I know.
And I think that takes, yeah,
I've
that
been
takes a
through it.
lot, which is why I said that I get that, right? And I see that, and I said that comes at a great personal cost, and still to put your name to it and put it out there every single day with your name is something, that's like this right now, as we are in the middle of it, we may not realize the importance of it. But
Yeah.
when we look back on this time, we will realize how there were some people who put these questions out and put their name to it
I
at a
think
great
the
personal
difference
cost. And I
between
think,
the difference between the political cartoons, editorial cartoons, and memes is names. We have names. Cartoons have names, and
yeah,
cartoons have faces.
yeah. No, absolutely. So I just want to say thank you for doing that.
No, I'm just
It's,
doing my
and
job
I
as a
know you
cartoonist.
may
I
not
mean,
want to call it brave. Yeah, I know you were going to say that because you were very, very humble. But I'm saying I know it's come at a great cost. So just thank you for doing that and inspiring a bunch of people who can wake up every day, look at a newspaper, or now look at it online and realize that there are still people asking the right questions for the right reason.
no, it's not being humble. I never thought, I mean, drawing cartoons would be called brave. I never imagined.
I think probably Satish, because when you started off, it was perhaps that was a thought. Today, in this day and age of social media, I
Yeah,
think putting out your thought itself, anything on any social media platform is, you have to think twice, and you worry about the
that's true.
backlash.
That's true. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
that's one of the reasons now when I put my social media posts, sometimes I just deactivate the comments part. you know. But
I
I think
mean,
that's something
many
that,
people, I mean, they send me private messages appreciating cartoon. They don't put it on a cartoon because they don't want to invite trouble.
I understand. So,
Yeah.
before we move on to the questions from everybody else here, just wanted to highlight a couple of points, and maybe, in the course of the conversation, maybe you can answer that, Satish. One is that I just read that you released your book, Go Corona Go. a
Yeah.
cartoon book this year. If you could talk about that. I also just read up that you were a part of the Forbes list, I think Forbes India list of among the top 15 intellectuals. If you could talk about that. And lastly, if at some point you can tell us, you mentioned that you lost a couple of clients during the lockdown. And if it was the lockdown and the pandemic that propelled you to explore NFTs. Three questions. Whenever you get the time, probably you can just start answering them.
Okay. The first was about the book. Okay.
Yes.
During Corona phase, when lockdown started, I had lots of time also, and I started drawing cartoons to pay tribute to uh, many heroes. I mean, not just healthcare workers, even other heroes like Sonu Sood, Barkadar, many other people, even Vikas Khanna, and many, I mean, unknown people also who used to help migrant workers, people who had no shelter, no food. So they used to help these people. I started paying tribute through cartoons during the lockdown. So I had around 200 cartoons. I mean, apart from these cartoons, I had cartoons on the failure of the government and the establishment, how we failed our people. So I had around 200 cartoons, and then I thought I should document these cartoons because they are all available on the net, on social media and all. But we need to document these cartoons. So I came up with two books. Uh, One is Go Karana Go. Yeah, one book actually. I'm working on the other book now. Uh, it was received very well. I mean, people loved it, and it had lots of sales actually. Because I normally self-publish my books. I don't go to publisher to get my books published. It was lots of hard work because I had to do everything from designing to publishing it and then selling it also. So, but it was very happy moment for me actually. I mean, I could reach lots of people. I could sell lots of copies also, and I could document these cartoons. That was most crucial part.
That's fantastic, and I hope at some point in the future you will consider publishing this cartoon book, maybe in the form of an NFT. But that's something we'll explore later. And would love to
Yeah, yeah,
know about you getting into the NFT space. What made you actually think of NFTs? When did you hear about them, and how did you go about the whole process?
yeah. But you are right about how I came into NFT. See, I've been hearing reading about NFT, some sensational stories about NFT, how some silly meme or some silly image was sold for like millions of dollars. So I was just following the NFT. I was never aware of the technical or the technology behind it. Then I started hearing about Wazirx. I mean, I read news about how Wazirx is entering the NFT space because I've been on Wazirx platform because I come from MBA finance background, so I try to invest in stock market sometimes. So I had a Wazirx account. So when I heard about Wazirx entering NFT space, I thought I should try it. And during that time, during the last 2 years, I had lost many clients. As a freelancer, I mean, I had around 15 to 20 clients. And for the last 6 or 7 months, I had around 4 or 5 clients. So it was tough. So I was looking at NFT as a as an avenue for some extra income. And also, I was interested in the technology. So I sent a proposal to Wazirx. In fact, I received the permission from Wazirx immediately after a few days, but it went to my spam folder. So I couldn't start my journey with Wazirx immediately. So while searching my mailbox, I found the mail. I mean, it was 1 month late actually, but I started well. I mean, after minting my first artwork, it was on Gandhi. It was taken in 7 minutes by Kunal. So
Yes.
it was, yeah, it was a happy journey, happy beginning for me.
Fantastic. In fact, I was just having a look at your collection, and uh, eight. I mean, I saw that eight. Majority of them have been all sold out, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
incredible work, beautiful
yeah,
work. I have more questions, but I'll not dive into those because we have others here waiting as well. So please, Ishita, just take
What
it
was your
away.
third question?
It was about Forbes India
Oh, okay,
intellectuals.
okay, 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 okay. Yeah, I mean, it was a. I mean, I don't know how they selected me. uh,
I think it probably just boils down to having an opinion. And I
yeah,
think that requires a lot of smart thinking, weighing in all the pros and cons. And then probably that
yeah,
was it. But
yeah,
really, really delighted to know that you were on the list.
yeah. I was one of the 24 thinkers selected by the writer. Uh, I was really surprised. It's a great honor, but a little surprised.
I'm sure it was very, very well deserved. You're just being humble here, but you are quite the legend. You've been doing amazing work. You've put your heart and soul behind it. So of course, it comes as no surprise to all of us that you were on that list.
Thank you.
So with that, if there is any other question from anyone in the panel here, we'd love to open it up for questions.
Yeah, I'd love to ask if that's all right.
Sure, go ahead, Sushmit.
So, Satish, first of all, it's really an honor and a privilege to be speaking to you this evening. I mean, you are, I
My
would say,
pleasure,
a
sir.
tremendous. No, you're really a tremendous inspiration. Your cartoons are fantastic, and also the what shall I say? I think you really have a very high degree of integrity as well. You don't compromise, and there's clearly no filter at all in your work. And I actually, it doesn't surprise me at all that you've been named as one of the intellectuals or thinkers, because I think one of the things that you do so well in your work is that you take complex ideas, whether they are political or to do with current events, and you really manage to distill them down to their essence and express them so clearly and lucidly. I mean, it's really just quite stunning.
Thank you so much.
And I also find that you seem to have two. I mean, I may be wrong here, but let me just put it out there anyway. You seem to have two kinds of cartoon, broadly speaking. One is, as I'm saying, the type that you do so well, where you take usually politics or current events and you manage to express them clearly, but also with a great deal of, you have this wonderful lightness of touch. It's never too heavy or cumbersome. It's very light and humorous, but you manage to do that with the very serious issues. So it does make you laugh or definitely put a smile on your face. But then there are some other images where the humor seems to have disappeared and it's really serious and deeply moving. One image that I think a recent image that really remains embedded in my mind is the one where I think you had tweeted brutal lathi charge on farmers, and
Yeah,
that to me seems to be a a really different sort of image. The tone and tenor is very different from what I'm referring to as your usual mix of
yeah,
commentary and humor.
yeah.
So I'm just curious: is there uh, do you approach these two differently? Thank you.
As I said earlier, I mean, editorial cartooning. It's not an entertainment. It's not just about jokes. It's not just about humor. It's a strong message. I mean, I normally approach a subject based on the seriousness of the subject. See, most of these politicians, they have different shades. So I try to bring those shades in my cartoon. So sometimes I use humor as a vehicle to carry the message. But when it comes to some serious incidents which are emotionally connecting to some people, uh, then I use a serious visual. I don't call it cartoon. I use visual. I mean, they are spontaneous mostly, and they try to touch the hearts of people. That's the only difference I make when I draw cartoons of politicians. I mean, I try to bring some humor, and when the topic is emotional and serious, very serious, then I try to bring in a visual, not a cartoon. I don't try to put humor there. That's the only difference I make.
That's
Well,
fantastic.
I just want to say thank you. I mean, as I'm saying, when I saw that image, brutal lathi charge on farmers, I was literally speechless. It was just a very
Yeah. See, I
deeply
kept.
moving image.
Sometimes I get messages from readers that this cartoon made me cry. I mean, I never thought that cartoons would make people cry, but that's how editorial cartoons are. I mean, it's not just about the humor; it's about message also.
Absolutely correct, and that was a very good question, Sushmit. Especially, when you're straddling the humor with opinion and making a statement and making people think. It's a very fine line there. So, and cartoonists also have this. I feel like it's more of a moral and a social obligation to make people think. So you do that very, very successfully, Satish. And one thing that I'm seeing here on the stage is I can see Aditya's PTR picture with, I think that looks like a cartoon that he's made of you. So I would love if Aditya is here to maybe if he has a question or a comment. So I find that a wonderful tribute to you, perhaps. So Aditya, if there's a comment or a question you have for Satish, the floor is yours.
Hi, hello everyone. Hi, Shida. Hello, Satish sir. I was just here to listen what was all happening, but when he mentioned, he can just motivate someone to be a part of a cartoonist community present generation. So I thought, I must turn up. Yeah, sir has been a motivation. It's been a while. I follow his cartoons. I used to imitate him, his cartoons, and then eventually started working as well. I am professional sports physio, but simultaneously I work. So it's not much I've done, but yeah, he has helped directly, indirectly at times, and maybe that's the best tribute I can give. So that's why I just popped up. Otherwise, I was here to just listen, and yeah, that's it.
Hi Aditya, I'm happy
Hi.
that you're continuing with the cartooning.
Yeah, I made it. So I was
You
not
are
that
good at
frequent.
it.
Yeah, I wasn't that frequent, but lockdown, I started one thing that every day I'll sketch it,
Yeah,
irrespective if I am busy with the schedule or no. But daily I do it, and
yeah,
slowly it's going good.
yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Lockdown has helped many people actually, many cartoonists. I mean, they started creating more cartoons.
Yes, I was lucky enough to last year just get work with Mumbai Indians as well. So I was a cartoonist for them.
Yeah, that's a
The
great
past,
opportunity.
yeah, so it was good. Thank you so much.
Best wishes.
Yeah,
I
Hi.
love this. I'm so sorry. Just a second. HRH. I will just come to you. I just said I love this. I love when the artist and the people they inspire are on the same stage together, and we get to hear about the lives that they've touched. So thank you so much, Aditya, for being here and for speaking up here. We wouldn't have known this otherwise had you not come up here.
thank.
So thank you. And with that, I'll go definitely to HRH. The floor is yours if you have a comment or a question. Thank you for waiting.
Hi. May I have a go at Mr. Genius now?
Hi Walid.
Absolutely.
Hi. Hi.
We
Hi,
worked
Satish.
together. Walid worked at midday. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've had the good fortune of witnessing the genius at work on the table next to me. So for years, I have seen Satish draw these cartoons and come up with beautiful renditions of our current times. In many ways, Satish Acharya has been a chronicle of Mumbai and of Mumbai's politics and of Mumbai's lifestyle as we see it. As I can only say that I've seen him at work. I've seen the sense of observation that he has and the way he brings about the best of or the most complex of situations into a visual that does not need any explaining, and that by itself is an art that is worth calling him a genius, which I usually do. Having said that, Satish, I'm going to put forward a question to you now. We have seen cartoons from R.K. Lakshman's time, which was black and white, pencil, no color. We came to an era where cartoons were first drawn, scanned, then colored. Now we are on the Vicom stage where cartoons are being made in all color and for digital medium. But at the same time, we also are seeing a huge challenge from memes to editorial cartoons and to cartoonists in general. And more editorial newspapers and publishing houses are getting rid of cartoonists. Uh, for various reasons, which you and I both are aware of. And therefore, the very cartoon that used to be a part of a newspaper every single day is slowly and gradually stepping out. Whereas on social media, we're looking at more and more memes taking over. So, in your opinion, how strongly can the editorial cartoon stand up to memes on social media?
Okay. First of all, thank you, Walid. Walid, you've been a great help even at midday, because when I started at midday, I learned a lot about news from different journalists, and Walid was one of them. Uh, Through these journalists, I could look at the different aspects of news. I mean, as a reader, we look at news how the paper presents it. But when we get a raw news from reporters, and how sub editors treat those news, and gives a different perspective to the news. That's what I learned at midday, and Walid was very helpful, and he's very generous with his praises. So thanks, Walid. Uh, and talking about the memes and all, uh, of course, there is a huge challenge. The challenge is about how these memes are created within minutes, and they are posted on social media, and they become viral. So you start working on the same idea. You take 1 hour, then post it, and someone will tag you to the meme, and they'll tell you that you copied the idea from that meme. So that's the challenge I face. Otherwise, as a cartoonist, I think as an artist, I have an advantage over memes, because I tell a story, I speak my opinion through a visual, mostly the illustration, so which the meme maker might lack. So if they hire a cartoonist and then start making memes, then it will become political cartoons or editorial cartoons. And with my cartoons, I have a face, I have a name, so people can question me for those cartoons. And I own up these cartoons, and I'm responsible for this opinion also. There's a difference between memes and political cartoons. And of course, it's a challenge because your ideas could overlap with memes, and they don't have to spend lots of time on the creation of these memes. So they appear on social media immediately, while cartoons take 1 hour at least to post this cartoon.
That was a lovely question, HRH, and I'm so happy that you're here as well as one of a friend and a colleague of Satish's. And I feel that is such a relevant question in today's day and age, where attention spans are so short. I mean, you
Yeah.
have to capture attention from people within that 5 second, 10 second window, or even shorter than that. So, meme culture seems to be growing, and cartoons and caricatures, and it seems to be an often forgotten or sidetracked form of
Also, the relevance
art.
of topics. I mean,
Yes,
they change.
yes.
See, during the age of R.K. Lakshman, they used to work on the headlines of yesterday. You know how news would come the previous day, cartoons will work on it, and the cartoons will appear in the next day paper. But now, I mean, people are exposed to the news immediately. They expect cartoons immediately. They hear about the news on social media, and they want to see the cartoons immediately. That's the difference between the present cartoons of present generation and the previous generations.
There is a standing joke from midday I'd like to share if you guys would allow me.
Please go ahead.
Yeah. So this is Satish and his caricatures of employees at midday. So the thing was this is like a jinx. So any caricature that of any journalist that Satish made from the newsroom would leave in a month's time.
Oh God,
So yeah,
this is interesting.
so I actually went up to Satish once and said, I'm tired of this place. Can you please just draw my caricatures so that I can leave this place? And I
But
swear
I
that
didn't want to lose him because he was my neighbor.
it's been like decades and he still hasn't drawn me. So I'm still stuck in the profession, so to speak. All thanks to Satish. So I'm just hoping
But
one
even
day.
if I draw your caricature, you can't leave journalism.
Well, I hope to sort of make a difference as much as you do. The other thing is that Satish Acharya is not just good at making cartoons, but he's also a very good headline writer. Some of our most iconic headlines have actually come from Satish while
Oh God.
talking about the news, etc. Some puns, playing on words, keywords, etc. Some of our really brilliant headlines have actually come
Oh,
from
that's because
chai
see,
conversations with Satish.
yeah, I was given a page called Page 8. It was supposed to be a graphical page. Normally, paper is full of gray matter, so that page, the the motive was to tell the story through graphics, either through illustrations. So I used to draw lots of illustrations, mostly like a storyboard to narrate a story. Mostly the crime scenes. That's how we started. I started giving some headlines which are liked by journalists like Walid and other editors. So I was fortunate to work on that page, page 8. It helped me a lot.
I love this. I love this inside story, this little scoop on you as a person, and also your all-encompassing personality, which goes beyond the cartoons and the absolutely amazing artwork that you do. So yeah, wonderful to have you here on stage, HRH. Vishaka, you had something to add?
I'll probably just bring it up absolutely in the end because we've got Ujas, I think, and then we've got Arka Prava as well, I think, waiting to ask the question.
Yes, please go ahead, Ujas, and then Arka Prava.
Um, hi, Vishaka. Hi, Ishika. Thank you. Um, First of all, Mr. Satish, your work is very amazing,
Hi,
and I really
Vijay.
love your job.
Thank you so much.
I have a few questions regarding cartoons as NFTs.
Okay.
Is it the right platform to
Yeah, yeah,
ask about?
yeah, sure.
Yes, please go ahead.
Uh, yeah, I just want to ask that how are you, once you mint and list your NFT, and if you're using a celebrity or a figure or or a person who is already existing, and you are making a cartoon out of it, how are you challenged with the licensing, the royalties, and all of that part? I mean, how are you safe with that? Are you free to do that, or is there any sort of issue? I guess you understand my
Yeah, I
question.
got your point. Yeah. See, as an artist, the rights are with me only. Even if I contribute to different clients, they have the right to usage only. They don't have the right to the creation, the artwork. The right remains with me.
Hmm.
And nowadays, I mean, most of my cartoons are done for either patron members or subscribers. So, and some for syndicated clients. So all these rights are with me only. So I don't face that problem.
Even if you're using any celebrity, you won't face
Celebrities, I
any
mean,
sort of issue.
yeah. Fortunately, I don't have to take permission from the celebrities to draw the caricature.
Right.
Uh, so I
So
don't think
I may,
it's a
if I may
problem.
just if I may just chime in here, Satish, so when it comes to celebrities,
Yeah.
this is a conversation that we've had internally with our legal team as well. When
Okay.
it comes to celebrities, because they're in the public domain,
Mhm.
caricatures and cartoons on them or memes on them, etc., are a form of tribute.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, first of all. Secondly, as long as if they're commissioned work, then it is a commissioned work between the seller and the buyer.
True.
Okay.
And lastly, of course, unless and until it is specified specifically. Vishwanath, can you please mute yourself? Thank you. Yes, so unless and until it is specified, say by Marvel Comics, where they
Hmm.
say that you cannot use our characters for any commercial purposes, and they're the only ones who are licensed to do so. One can continue to mint NFTs, tribute by using these characters as inspiration. However, I think Satish Acharya is he's known in the industry. He's very renowned. He knows the do's and don'ts. But for a lot of new artists, what we usually recommend is, uh, If you have even the slightest of doubt, just listen to your gut instinct and don't do this.
Exactly. And I think this is a very important point that you brought up, because I feel like as long as the creation is original, that is something, Satish has been drawing out physically, even if it resembles a celebrity. This is his rendition of somebody else. It could be anything. It is his creation. He's not taking a photograph and just putting it out there. So the licensing agreement for photographs and things like that is completely different for commercial use. But this is an original creation that a cartoonist or caricaturist is putting out there, which then becomes their own intellectual property. They have their own rights to it. But if ever there is a gray area, if ever there is a question, always stay on the side of caution, ask questions before you do something, or refrain from doing it without absolute clarity on that matter. I hope that helps, Ujas. Ujas, are you there? Okay, maybe we lost Ujas. With that, definitely next we have Arka Parva.
Hello.
Hi, Ujas. You there?
Yeah, I'm there. Also, I just want to ask that, like, I also make art, and I use a lot of characters which are, cartoons like Mickey Mouse and Richie Rich and all of that. So if I'm using those characters, but the scene, the background, and all of that is mine, the creation of an art is mine. So I can do that, and I can list it on any platform as an NFT.
The licensing agreement for Disney characters is completely different. You will have to actually see whether you can use a Mickey Mouse or something like that. You might be able to use maybe the ears or a bow tie that Mickey Mouse is wearing, but whether you can depict the entire Mickey Mouse or Richie Rich, which are iconic trademark characters, those would be something that you will have to actually look into the licensing agreements of. So it is not like drawing Amitabh Bachchan with a pen and ink sketch. It's not the same thing. It's a licensed character, which has been somebody else's intellectual property. So yeah, that's the difference.
Got it. Thank you so much. It was really helpful.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your question. Again, these questions are very important to ask, and I'm glad you brought this up. And I'm sure a lot of people in the audience also have these questions. So thank you so much. And with that, definitely we are next moving on to Arka Parva. Do you have a question or a comment for Satish?
Yes, hello. Right now, it's like a fanboy moment for me speaking to Satish. So thank you, Ishita Di and Vishaka Di for this. Actually, I'm a government school teacher, and present times, I have been following Satish for I think for the last 2 years, and it's been inspirational journey for me through his cartoons, and also it has been an outlet for me because at times I cannot jot down some words. I keep a diary for it every day when I see something odd happening in my country, but at times I could not jot down words to give an outlet to my emotions going within me. So Satish's cartoons have helped me a lot in having an outlet. So in present times, I could say my parents used to say we had RK Lakshman during our time, and in present times, I can say to my parents that we have Satish Acharya in our time. My generation has Satish Acharya. So thank you for that. And my question would be to Satish. I am speaking from Northeast India. Okay, so here the problem is that the exposure to cartoons or the caricatures or these kind of art forms are very less. So for me, in the last 2 years, as I've been inspired from your art, so I have tried exposing this art form to my students as well, but the problem is I'm not good at it. So if you can tell me that are there any prospects in Northeast India, because I have searched a while, but in Northeast India the chances are very less, or the scopes are very less for anyone who is interested in this art form and to do it as a future work place. So could you please throw some light on that, Satish? Thank you.
Mr. Paul, thanks so much for your kind words. Uh, Actually, we don't draw enough cartoons on Northeast India because the media does not cover lots of news coming from Northeast India. First of all, apologies for that. And to learn cartooning, you don't need a physical teacher. You can learn through online classes. I try to interact with the cartoon lovers through YouTube channel, sometimes through WhatsApp and all. And I'm also tying up with a graphy for an online class also. So hopefully people will get benefits from it. So whenever, I mean, you should teach students about the cartooning, and they should be able to draw their expression. They should be able to uh, express their opinion through drawings. It's a good exercise. Instead of writing an answer, give them questions and ask them to answer in drawings, maybe through simple drawings. I mean, they don't need to be a great artist to express their answers. They can start by just scribbling. It's a good exercise.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. I will surely try for that.
Yeah,
And I would love you if you just update on your graphic course in your Facebook page. I follow that
yeah,
too.
I'll do that.
So if
I'll
you
do
can
that.
kindly update that, then it will be very helpful. Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you very
Thank
much.
you so much. Thank you so much.
And I find that such an interesting thing that you said, you know, that you really don't, you can be inspired from anywhere, right? You can just reach out, and when there are not too many resources available in your region, you could be the start of that resource. You could
Yeah.
be starting this conversation around cartooning. You should show your students the work that is being done, and you know, revive this and make and be the point person for the resource in that area. And I think being early adopters and seeing the value propositions, and now especially with Satish coming into NFTs, now the fact that he's put his work out there as NFTs is a great learning experience for a lot of newcomers who are also cartoonists, who also want to practice this art and want to take this forward into the NFT space. So that's a brilliant question, and definitely thank you very much, Arkaparva, for this.
Thank you, Ishita Di. I will definitely try to do it. Okay, thank you.
Awesome. And next in PTR, we have Ria. Ria, hi, welcome.
Hi, ma'am. I'm glad to speak to you. Hi, everyone. I'm Ria. I'm an architect and an artist. First of all, I would love to congratulate the whole Wazirx team for launching secondary market as well as for their 100 plus days of completion. And I'm very glad to be part of it. And Satish, sir, your journey and your work is truly amazing. I'm very happy to be part of Wazirx
Thank you
since
so
I
much.
get to listen so many great artists journey like you, and you are truly an inspiration.
Thank you so
And
much.
and I'm very glad that Ishita ma'am is also here. Ma'am, you are among the first NFT artists that I've come across. And I feel privileged to be here in between you all. Thank you so much for this lovely session.
Oh, thank you so much, Ria. And please call me Ishita. I feel like 100 years old when somebody calls me ma'am. But thank you so much.
This is wonderful. In fact, sorry, Shita, sorry, go ahead.
No, no, please, please. I just wanted to say thank you to Ria.
Just wanted to say the same to Ria. Ria, thank you for joining in, and it's just so heartening to see somebody like Satish Acharya on our platform, and somebody like you, Ria. I just saw your NFT corridor on the Wazirx platform. It's beautiful, and Ishita and I actually bonded initially over the fact that we need more female participation in the NFT space, and I'm very very happy to see you here. So welcome.
Thank you so much, Vishaka. Thank you.
I'll definitely be checking out your work as soon as we finish this room. So thank you so
Thank
much,
you,
Ria,
ma'am.
for
Thank
coming
you.
here.
Thank you, Shita. Sorry. Yeah.
And I think last we have Manish on stage. Hi, Manish. Welcome.
Hello everyone. Hello Ishita, Vishika, and everyone in the room. Hello, of course, Satish sir.
Hi, Manish.
Yes, I'm a huge fan of your cartoons, especially the latest political ones, because they are always on point. And thanks to you for collecting my NFT once again. Uh, the first NFT he collected on Wazirx platform, it was my NFT. So I'm feeling so proud of
I'll
that.
collect more as I sell more.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. That's it. I just wanted to thank you again.
Thanks, Manish. You're doing great.
And that actually, comes back to this question that I wanted to ask you, Satish. I
Yeah.
saw your creations, which I love. I mean, I love Amma especially, and everything on Kalam sir. But then I happened to see your collection, and you've collected two NFTs, and I just wanted to know what was your thought process and what connected you to these beautiful NFTs that you decided to collect them.
See, I've been observing the works of Manish, and he's been doing good. And I want to collect more NFTs on the platform. And there is another artist who is into 3D. He's also doing great. I mean, he has lots of potential. So I collected. These are young people, and I thought I should start collecting also, not just selling on the platform.
That's beautiful. In fact, this is again something that Ishita initially coined, artist for artists,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
we've seen a lot of artists now progressing into becoming collectors. And I think now with our secondary market opening up, at any point in the future, should you decide to list your collection for sale on the secondary market, I am hoping that you reap a lot of a generous profit on those. And yeah, that's it. Ishita, do you want to say something else? Add anything?
Yeah, just final words maybe that I would love one final question before we perhaps end the room. And I think this was a wonderful session, getting to know Satish, getting to know your practice, and celebrating cartoon NFTs, which I
yeah.
feel are such a relevant and poignant message in our time. So the last question is, what would you say and to inspire somebody who is a cartoonist, who's trying to make it as a cartoonist, and who wants to start their NFT journey? What maybe one or two pieces of advice that you would want to give them?
Okay. About the cartooning journey, I mean, they should believe in their potential. They should believe in themselves. That's the one thing. I mean, uh, see, as an editorial cartoon, it's not easy. It's not easy to become an editorial cartoonist because it takes lots of skills also, not just drawing skills, and also to stay in this profession, it takes lots of challenges. I mean, it's very tough, but you should be ready for it. And until you establish your name, you don't get any benefits in the profession. You would continue to struggle as a cartoonist, but once you establish your name, you can reap the benefits. But you have to believe in your skills. You should keep upgrading your skills, and don't neglect technology. I've seen many cartoons who have mental block for technology. They don't use technology. We should embrace it, and we should start using technology also. But don't depend on technology, because I also see many youngsters just talking of the software, which app I use. The most of the inquiries about either the software or the app. They want to know the app which I use to create cartoons. See, no app or no software can create cartoons. You have to create cartoons because it's about ideas also. And you should show some courage. As an editorial cartoonist, you have to have courage. Unless you have courage, you won't be able to express yourself. You won't be doing justice to this profession. And NFT is a great platform for artists, not just cartoonists. Uh, they should explore it. Maybe start taking baby steps here, and uh, explore the space. Look at the different art forms. I mean, the biggest gain for me so far. I've been in NFT space for the last couple of months. Is looking at this amazing artists, looking at their styles, looking at different mediums they're using. I feel so humbled. It's a great experience for me. I mean, I haven't been able to mint much of my artworks, but I'm just observing these artworks and learning a lot. So you should get into NFT space and start exploring first, and then take baby steps. You will succeed eventually. Just believe.
That's just so beautiful, Satish. Thank you for saying that.
Thank you
And
so much.
I learned that you're a Wazirx user, and I'm really excited to tell you that at some point in a very near future, we will be having a lot of Wazirx users who will be NFT collectors on our platform. And I'm sure you're aware that we have an 8 million strong crypto
Yeah, yeah,
community
yeah.
that Wazirx enjoys. And because we were
Yeah, I
building the
was
NFT
just
marketplace,
yeah,
yes,
I was just talking about this aspect with a collector like Kunal. I mean,
yes,
Wazirx has so many investors and so many, crypto investors.
yes.
If some of them come into NFT space, it would be a great boost for the space.
Absolutely, 100%. And that's one of the reasons, the whole idea when Sandesh and I, when we decided and we built this platform up, the whole idea was to first go very, very organically. And, as you mentioned, to anybody who wants to drop NFTs, uh, it's very important to be consistent. And when we have a current wait list of 19,000 applicants, and
Wow.
we greenlisted very few only. And one of the biggest criteria that we were looking for was consistency. Has the artist in the last few years consistently been creating artwork? A simple thing like if the Instagram profile has been created, say, in April 2021, that disqualified the person from joining the platform, because there was no way we could verify the authenticity of the profile or the credibility of the work. With profiles such as yours, one could immediately go in and see the mammoth work, the legacy of work that you already have. And yes, so moving forward, I hope we do more justice to your work. We will be diverting the main crypto community that Wazirx enjoys. We are out of our beta, and that should happen pretty soon. So we will have more collectors, more creators, and a
Great.
very, very healthy NFT community moving forward.
Thanks for that.
And with that, I just wanted to say, I think that's a wonderful, note to end with. And my takeaway from today's conversation is, again, what Satish said, don't be scared of technology. It is not all about apps. It's not all about software, but it is about skill. It is about dedication, consistency, like Vishakha said, and also just putting your heart and soul out there as an artist and just being true to who you are, and try and bridge your the thought, the opinion, the humor, the skill, the art, and try and blend it with whatever the technology offers, whether it's in terms of softwares that you can use, the painting on a digital medium or a physical medium, or even just the whole mechanism of NFTs and the way we are seeing the value rise, and the the popularity that NFTs are gaining in today's day and age. So I wanted to say a big, big thank you to Satish. It was a
Thank you
wonderful,
so much.
spending the last 90 odd minutes with you here in the room. Thank you everyone who came and asked
Thanks so much.
questions
I
and
really
joined
enjoyed
us.
the I really enjoyed the conversation
Absolutely.
I had. Yeah.
Absolutely, Satish. And one last thing, Ishita, just to celebrate Satish's work, if you want to see his work, Satish is on our drop page today. So all you have to do is go to nft.wazirx.org, and you will see all the fantastic NFTs that Satish Acharya has dropped on the Wazirx NFT
Thank you so
platform.
much.
The drop
Thank you
page is
so much.
dedicated to you today. Thank you so much,
Thank you
Satish.
so much. Yeah. Very kind of you.
What a lovely tribute. What a lovely celebration for Cartoon Day and International Cartoon Day and Cartoon NFT. So congratulations. So thank you everyone. Thank you HRH for telling us a little bit about the man behind his creations. Loved Namit, who had come in and asked his questions earlier. Sumit, thank you for your question. Ojaz, Arka Parva, Ria, everyone who joined us here, everybody who's been in the audience. And Vishaka, what a pleasure it was. Rahul, Jyotishwa, thank you so much. And just wish you continued success, lots of love, and lots of luck.
Thank you,
Thanks so
everyone. Bye
much,
bye.
everyone, for your time.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye
Bye.
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 You guys.